right?
Yeah.
And you see what I shared? Because we talked about poop emojis, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I shared a poop
I did
emoji.
record.
So, So I don't know if you noticed who was CC'd on that email.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after all that the K-12 email etiquette, here's Liz sending it out to the head of school with a poop emoji. So they might ask me to take it again. I can't be that serious all the time.
I thought that you could get away with it. You had the liberty to do it. And
I don't know if I had the liberty to do it. I really don't know.
It wasn't going to families.
I don't think it was offensive, but probably should have had that 1 minute delay, because I realized after I said it, I'm like, oh crap, I should not have CC'd them. I wasn't going to remove it. I just wouldn't have included them in the email message. I just wanted to share the gloriousness of what you guys do, because I don't know if I just want to make sure everyone appreciates each one of you like I appreciate you guys. So anyhow, I did hit record, which is fantastic. So we won't have poop emojis again. Okay, so the goal of this meeting is to basically review some of the follow-up tasks that we had from this meeting, and we'll develop another list of tasks that we feel like we need to do. So the meetings have been set through the 31st. I feel like before we set up another round of meetings, let's get through unless you guys want something different. If you want a definite meeting on the schedule, we can do that. But I feel like if we set this up through the 31st, our last meeting before break, right, we can revisit and see what we think we need from a meeting standpoint. Would you guys agree or disagree? What are your thoughts on that?
Sounds good.
Everybody good with that? Okay, so then I'm just going to put meetings for summer will be established.
My dog is, where did you go, Captain?
Based on need after May 31st. Okay. Oh, I should share this so you guys can see what I'm doing with the poop emoji. Okay, so we're going to remove that because we will have a recorded link on this one. Those that are here right now, we are kind of missing Bonnie. So let me put that. Crystal's not in the room, right?
No.
Okay.
Now, I know that Mary Rose was attending Crystal's son's award assembly, maybe?
I think there's an award assembly, and I think she probably just forgot, or she's gonna, which is fine. We'll figure it out later. But I don't remember her saying anything in our meeting that, I've got an awards assembly, but it's okay. We'll have a recorded link. It'll all be fine. And we know who to assign things to people, right?
All to Crystal, because she's not here.
In the room. Exactly. I'm just teasing. Team Drive. I didn't look. Daisha, have you set up a team drive for this group?
Yep. They're all three set up, and they should be able to upload in their correct one. And then the other one, I didn't set up a document yet for notes or editing, but they should be able to comment on anything in the drive at this point. But I will set up a sheet to make it easier.
So I'd like to make sure everyone has access and can do something. So upload a picture, just do something silly that we can make sure that your uploads work, because I don't want to have to worry about that. All right.
No poop emojis.
Nope. Everyone send your favorite poop emoji. There you go. I like that idea. I don't think I'll put that in the notes, but
official business.
Yeah.
Action item.
Upload something to new drive to make sure all
instead of asterisks.
Okay. So then, did anybody get a chance to review the content and determine what we already have and what we need? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So what are we looking at? What do we think we already have?
So I told you I did some websites and stuff, and I think that I was just going to possibly just take over the down there, I can't see in the sun, but the locking dates for high school, just all the stuff, how to make up missing work, how to find progress, quizzes and all that kind of stuff, because I did do that for so long. So
do we have something already developed, or is that something you think you're going to need to develop, Shannon? And I'm more than willing to put your name on it.
Partially. I have some stuff that I did with the PowerPoints. Remember, we had PowerPoints and we had high school orientation type stuff. So I had to create stuff for that. So I can use that, and then make it into because I probably will do something else like different, a little bit different with it. But part of the stuff is in there already that I do have.
I think Bonnie may want in on some of this. Would you agree with that, Daisha? I know she's not here, but she was really into checking course progress and stuff like that. Would you agree or disagree with that statement?
I would think that
She's
one.
very passionate about that, but I could be wrong.
No, I would say that one and or the how do I engage with. Those would be her two areas. I think the bullet headset, all those kind of things. Well,
Shannon, if you need support, I believe that Bonnie would be someone in there that could help you. What kind of things are you looking at? Do you see this as total videos, handouts, all of the above? What are you thinking?
I like all of it, honestly, because I feel like when they come to, like, even if we had something, because I'm going to talk about it in sessions, I think, too, just a little bit of everything. But if we have some videos to show that are kind of fun, that'll be fun for the kiddos to look at. But then the parents, on the other hand, might want something that's, like a handout, something to refer back to. So I feel like everything.
There is a K-12 video. So I know this is going to sound really nerdy, but I watched a bunch of the K-12 videos.
Not and nerdy.
That website, whatever it's called, the one with all the reference videos. Mm-hmm. And there is a video on how to look at your progress, Shannon.
Yeah.
I also, there's a video on all of the Class Connect basics. So I know that.
Yeah, I actually pulled some of those. I was telling Liz this morning that I was just pulling up a bunch of some of the favorite links that I would think that people would use. It might go across the board for the whole entire Grow series stuff. So, but I was just going to put links together and it could be uploaded for anybody's use.
Yeah. So on the only thing with the K-12 stuff, it is all very cut and dry. So I think that whatever we use, we want to make sure we're also doing little bullet point sheets or Powtown videos or something. So we have a variety of, if you want the straightforward instructional, video, or if you are a visual learner or an auditory learner, here are some other references.
Yeah.
So do you think from what we already have, do you think there's enough content, Jenny, from what you saw, for us to be able to either use some pieces of that content, or do we have to develop anything from scratch for this particular piece?
I think there's plenty of pieces. I just don't think they are necessarily the image that we portray.
Okay.
If that makes sense. I the ADD in me goes off when I look at them. I kind of lose interest because they aren't super. There's a lot of detail. And for, especially the parents that we've worked with, I think we would lose them if we used too much of it.
Okay.
You want something more to keep it simple rather than.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the Powtoon concept because you could certainly pull it in and make it very just spot on for our school versus, and a lot of those K-12 videos are that one guy's voice. I kind of start tuning him out anyway.
Yeah.
But the material, like all of the information is there. So the research is there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we wouldn't necessarily need to do the research between what we already know and the materials that are there. We just might have to change it into our own documents.
Okay. So then, so from a content standpoint, we feel that we have enough content available for the how to check your progress. Would you all agree with that?
Yep.
Yes, and you're talking all the schools, right? K-5, middle school, high school.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because that's what we're making right now.
So that would be, if we did if I was in charge of this packet, this bullet point, I would have unless it was across the board, fit all of them, I would have my K-5 spreadsheet, or whatever, Powtoon, middle school, high school.
Yeah, because it would look, middle school, high school might not look too different.
Except the locking dates.
Yes, correct. But is that a separate we don't want like a 5-10 minute video. You might just have a video on locking dates, right?
Right.
For just
I just wanted to make sure as I put my notes down.
And there is I believe there was a K-12 video on locking dates as well.
I don't know if I would use that because I think the locking dates will look a lot different than our internal locking dates, our department.
I haven't seen that, but it can be different, and it's going to be different for each teacher. So it's probably better just to kind of specify, how that's going to look or could look potentially.
So you feel we're going to have to create different things. Would you agree with that statement, Shannon, in here?
Yep.
So work with content available. So this is more if we've got to take it and create something different.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Yeah.
Create
and unless,
other formats is what we're looking at.
Daisha and CJ may feel otherwise, but I kind of felt that was the case with most of these areas.
I 100% agree with you.
Okay.
In addition, I looked, at the PowerPoints that we used for orientation this year, and same thing. We have a lot of content, but they just need to be spruced up and changed around.
So we could probably have the same bullet points under here, what we need to do for the bullet point for most of them. So let's work with Shannon. So Shannon, we've got the content that's available. We just need to put it in different formats for K-5, middle school, high school. What content, what formats do you feel would be appropriate? We had said videos, right? You think videos would be, so instructional videos, right? Either K-12 or us, right?
Right. And I think if we do for the K-5, we could do that one a little bit different because you want it to be a little bit more fun with the Powtoon or something like that. And I haven't done one with the Powtoon.
So that's going to be one of my next questions. So we've got instructional videos, handouts, right? You feel like a handouts could be appropriate, right?
Yes, absolutely. And that's across the board.
Correct. Handouts and presentations, right? You feel like presentations because you said something you might want to do. You might personally want to do something so PowerPoint or whatever that looks like. Is there any other formats you feel would be appropriate for this particular bullet point that you're going to work on?
I think that almost would cover it, essentially.
I think so too. Anyone else feel like there's something else that we have to?
No, I think that's good.
Okay. So then what do you need? What do you need, Shannon, to be able to develop this, right? Do you need instruction on how to do a Powtoon? What do you need to be able to put this together?
I probably
support you.
I would just.
I can't give you time.
Yeah, give me time.
And you could do Animoto. It doesn't have to be Powtoon.
Doesn't have to be Powtoon.
And I've done that, and I might some of the Daisha had posted that video that I did. My weekly videos. Mm-hmm. I can do some fun stuff like that. And
great.
Whatever and Powtoon, I can learn that on my own. I don't need help.
No, and there's plenty of us that have done Powtoon, right? So I would say Heather and Kimberly are huge resources for Powtoon.
Okay.
Because they've done a lot with Powtoon this year. So either one of them could be a go-to resource for you for Powtoons. Yeah. So if there's anything that you feel you need some assistance with, it might be in the Powtoon and so some of the assistance would be editing help, right? Because we don't want you looking at everything all the time. We need to have other people in place to help you edit after you get this together. Okay. Editing assistance, right? Because and nobody should be doing that on their own. I'm just going to say that none of us, when we've worked so hard to put this together, we should not be the editing people in it because our eyes just play tricks on us. So editing assistance, perhaps training in Powtoon. And you may need extra hands. If you find you're in the weeds, then you got to let us know because we can have somebody come in and help, okay?
Okay.
So then I feel like this I can pretty much copy for each bullet point.
Yeah.
Copy. If we go up here onto how to engage with live classroom sessions, right? Do we all agree that this is all available, how to engage in those sessions? I'm not sure if everything is in there. Do we really feel like what does participation look like is the content that's there?
I
don't think that's.
I don't think so. And not the taking notes, but I do think they sort of cover sort of lightly how to be involved in, but not really the taking notes thing. That's very subjective. I don't think that's in there at all.
So what does participation look like? I think we should develop a little bit differently. Because our participation may look different, right? Mm-hmm. And it could look different from K-5. I don't know if it looks different from K-5 middle school or high school. I really don't. I think that's something that it should be across the board.
That could be easily across the board, right? Because it's, whiteboard or chat box or raise your hand as called upon. So that really is the same.
I feel like that needs to be developed. And do you feel like we want a section on taking notes in a Class Connect session, or maybe it's how to get the most out of a live classroom? And that way it can be a little broader where you could take notes or listen to the recordings. I mean, what do you guys think on that one? Taking notes is very limited, and I'm not sure if every student wants to take notes, right?
I think it could be it could be a little plug. I think it's middle school likes that. They talk about it often, but I don't know that it's something I would make a whole section for. If I was making a video, it might just be a moment in that video, or a small spot on a handout.
So does that become part of what does participation look like? Because if you're that could be part of participation. Would you go out on that ledger with me?
Actively participating.
Yeah.
What is active? I like that. What is active participation?
Hey, Jenny, I'm passing your house.
Oh, right now? You should have told me. I would have gone outside.
That's so funny.
Probably see my dad outside.
We could have all waved to you. What does active participation look like in a live classroom? And that could include note-taking, microphone, just interacting with students and teachers.
Agree? Yeah, using the classroom tools.
Okay. I'm just putting notes there so that whoever looks at this, we know what that kind of will look like from the active participation in the classroom. Okay. So all the other content that's in here, do we feel, so how to engage in a live classroom session, how to set up a headset probably has content available, right? How to do your audio. It's more than how to set up a headset. It's more doing an audio check in Blackboard. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Agree.
Doing an audio check in VB or other. I mean, it's just making sure you know how to check your audio, not only in Blackboard, but even on your computer, right?
Yeah. Pushing the talk button to talk. It took me a long time to figure that out. Sorry.
Using audio tool. Okay. I feel like we have that content. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go like this and go content available. And what does participation look like? I think this is the one that we need to have.
Do we need to say anything about the minimal bandwidth a student needs as far as internet to enter a class? Because it does come up.
I think it gets.
Or is that more of a tech piece?
It would be more tech, and also people have certain internet because it's like a cheaper. So I don't know that would be something to mention.
And I don't know that they would know how to find out what they had.
Yeah, it might just open up more questions than we would be able to answer anyhow.
Okay.
We'll get a lot of phone calls.
Yeah, the Blackboard tips and tricks. I feel like that's available. Do you agree or disagree with that? I feel like the content's done. We just have to make sure what we have is what we need. Would you agree with that?
We have a PowerPoint and thing. And actually, we have a PowerPoint on the audio check and everything else, too. So we could, kind of like Shannon was saying, we have some of the stuff to start with, and we can just sort of modify it or add to it.
Okay. So I feel like if we have to look at content that has to be developed, I really feel like the content is going to be we want to develop further that how to engage in a live classroom session. Would you agree? That would be the one area that I feel like we might need to have a little more work in.
Yeah, agreed.
So I'm just going to highlight that. So everything else, some content is available. Oh, this is the content that we need to, what is active participation? So this is to be developed. I don't know why I did it that way. My notes are not exactly great. This is why I don't encourage note taking. Just kidding.
And there's where the emoji goes.
There's where the emoji goes. So that is the content that we probably need to develop in this section. Everything else, we probably need to, would you agree that we need to create other formats in some of this stuff? I feel like we have the instructional videos from K-12 we should be able to do something with.
We might even look further into that, like on the website, or when we're searching back into Team Drive to find out that we have even more than we thought.
Correct.
I agree.
So this is Shannon is doing this one. I'm putting your name up here. Does anybody want to do this how to engage with a live classroom session in this room?
I'm happy to do. It doesn't matter. It's not my area of expertise. I'm happy to do it. I'll figure it out. It'll become my area of expertise.
You're so funny.
And I know
the same way, Jenny.
Yeah, and Bonnie could go, oh, is that Crystal? Did I hear Crystal?
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
Oh.
I
Good
feel
morning,
like
Crystal.
and as I'm thinking through this, it's not a bad thing for someone that hasn't interacted much in Blackboard to do this in our team. Does that make sense? Because it is a growth opportunity.
Good.
It helps us
I will
learn.
do it.
Exactly.
Because what was that thing about jumping off the cliff, you know, when I feel uncomfortable?
And yeah. So I'm going, if you're comfortable with that, I suppose
Yeah.
it's available, Ron.
Yeah.
Available. Okay. So
Okay.
I am going to say Jenny
Okay.
will be the primary. And just because you're down, it doesn't mean you're on an island. Same with you, Shannon. You just
Okay.
think that you're going to kind of be the primary. If you need support, you just got to raise your hand and let us know.
Okay.
All right. So Jenny, you might not know, I'm going to keep editing assistants in here.
Yeah, that's
Can you
fine.
think of any other thing you, at the top of your head right now, think you're going to need to help do this and get this together?
No, the only thing that comes to my mind is I might even reach out to a few of the teachers and just say, hey, what do you want when you have a student in the class? What
Great
What do you
idea. Do it
consider
early because they're not going to be here,
Yeah,
but that's a great idea to do that.
because that looks different. Obviously, we work with them in a different aspect. It looks different to different teachers.
Absolutely.
That'd be a fun little like teacher's corner section of a video or a handout. You know, what do teachers say about this? They want this or something like. You could definitely have fun with that.
I think you could get a couple of teachers that you've worked with. Shannon, can you give her some high school or middle school teachers' names?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Crystal, could you get a couple of teachers' names that you've worked with and give those to Jenny? I'm not saying a lot, maybe 2 names, 3 names.
Just send me an
Doesn't
email
need
or
to
a
be a
message
not.
at all.
Send Jen an email with suggestions on teachers that would be willing to give their input.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of any. We probably need special. Do you think we need special education in here? You know what? Add Stephanie Statler, Jenny, to that email and just ask and do a separate email to Stephanie Statler and say, what do you expect from your sales students?
Okay.
If you, and you'd have a separate sales
Correct.
document or sales
Correct.
video. It would be very different.
And
wouldn't it be cute if on our little papers, I can't think of the proper word, we had little quotes, like little bubbled quotes.
Fantastic.
And then with the teacher's name.
I think that's brilliant.
Yes, I think it's absolutely brilliant.
Perfect way to bring that in. And even a video.
Great idea.
Pull that in. Like, that's clever.
I gotta go.
Okay. Bye, sweetie. Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Honk on your way back.
Okay, I will.
Let us know.
All right.
There's
Bye.
no poop emoji, so you'll be able to listen to the recording.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good day. I'll see you later.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So part of that would be, so one of the follow-up items, let me put that as a follow-up items. We are going to have Crystal, God, hello, Shannon to send teacher names to Jenny, right?
Yeah.
future I cannot spell names to Jenny for input on participation in their classrooms. What participation looks like.
Okay.
Okay. And you, Jenny, are going to send follow-up email to teachers to get their feedback from them.
Yeah.
Perfect. And a quote, ask them, you phrase it any way you want to, but it could say, hey, do you have a quote on what you want to see from your students? Or can you give me just a couple bullet point items of what you want to see from students in your classroom?
Okay.
And make sure one of those goes to Stephanie Statler. I think that's a great idea because we should include something like that for sales.
Okay.
And that being said, we may want many of those other topics to have a sales piece, but we could always do that after the fact
I think
too.
we might need to look at what we have, and then based on understanding of what sales needs, we probably need to tweak or pick and choose some of this stuff because they're just going to look a lot different than
100%.
Okay.
So, okay. So what about the getting ready for your courses, course content, course readiness? This should be Bonnie. Bonnie was very passionate about this, I feel. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. And she probably has the information.
She has so much information for that stuff too.
And if you want to put my name with her, because I know I had highlighted that one too. I like that one.
Speaking of Bonnie.
Is Bonnie with us?
We were just assigning you something.
Voluntolding.
We were voluntolding you. How did graduation practice go? Just kidding. I have my graduation tonight.
That's rough.
It's okay. We have the gown and the cap are all ready to go, steamed, all that good stuff. So it'll all be good.
Do you have shoes?
Yes, because brother had to buy shoes for something that he was doing, so we're wearing brother shoes. Because you're right, that was going to be an issue because vans are not allowed. Yes.
My son, Tuesday night at 4:30, we had to leave at 4:30. At 4:29, we realized we have no shoes.
Oh, no.
So we went across the street to Grandpa's house, borrowed his shoes, shoved paper towels in the toes. And he went on stage with Grandpa's shoes, and Grandpa's tie was in my purse instead of on his neck. And I sat there like a failure, but I was like, go Ben.
He refuses to wear a tie. He's just wearing like a nice collared polo shirt and a pair of pants. I've said to him 4 times, do you have clothes to wear? Because you do need
no naked.
No
I'll be honest with you, for graduation, it's not going to show anyway.
That's what he keeps telling me.
Yeah.
He keeps saying, I'm in a gown. Nobody's going to see it. I'm like, the gown's going to be a little lower. You will be able to see a collar, and you will be able to see a tie. So you need to at least have a collar. So
get him a clip-on bow tie.
Oh my God, that would be a riot. Yeah.
Well, for the girls, they're not allowed, for our school, they're not allowed to show anything above or below the actual gown itself. So I was kind of surprised. Kind of weird.
This dress code stuff's getting a little ridiculous.
I thought
because it's ridiculous what these kids are wearing, deciding that this is an appropriate thing to go out of your house with. I would
Agreed.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I blame Hollywood. I'm sorry, but I do. I'm just kidding.
Social media for sure.
Yeah, I blame social media and these people that think, okay, we can't go there.
They get paid for it.
So exactly. All right. So Bonnie, we were just talking about this section, getting ready for your courses, course content, your plan, completing course readiness, preparing for the day. We're volunteering you that would be a great thing for you to do. Would you be comfortable working on that?
I'm trying to figure out the screen you're on because I just see your face, and although you're very, very beautiful, it doesn't give me the information you're. Oh, there we go.
Does anyone else see the information?
No. Yeah, I got it. Sorry, I think it popped me in.
I'm really not that beautiful today, but that's okay.
No, it's the hat. She looks good in that hat, doesn't she?
She does.
I'm gonna wear a hat more often.
Yeah.
Wait, I'll go like this.
Wear it to graduation.
I will wear it to graduation.
So how to submit teacher graded assignments, work samples. Sounds good.
Okay. So I feel like there's a lot of content that's already available. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and I did a lot of screenshots and videos on this last year, so.
Okay. So then really it's going to be working with the content that's available, and we want to make sure that there's content for kindergarten, K-5, middle school, high school, right?
Sounds good.
What kind of, like, this was the medium formats that we could present this back, regurgitate it back to advisors and family. Do you feel like right now, this was from Shannon's piece. She was saying she thinks instructional videos, K-12, or ones we develop locally, handouts, presentations. Are you feeling like those formats would be good for this particular bullet point? Are you thinking some might not work for it? What do you think on this?
Video probably would not work real well, only because it needs to be step by step. And I think turning in a teacher graded assignment, I can't actually show that. Work samples couldn't do that either. However, listing the websites that they'll be turned into and how that works could just be bullet pointed like a handout. Completing course readiness obviously will need to be a video for MS high school platform, but not that won't apply for K-5. Course content and your plan. I actually had some feedback from learning coaches who said that they liked the picturesque way I did it as opposed to walking them through it like verbally and on the computer. And maybe that's just my lack of video skills. I don't know.
No, and I think that nails it, because that's sort of a Powtoon or Animoto way of doing it too.
Yes.
So I do think that type of video could work even for some of these other things where it's just sort of the images and not so much walking them through all the steps. Like you said, you don't want to, FERPA friendly and all. So I think you still could play around with video if we wanted to.
So I guess my interpretation of video was me doing it technically, but I can bullet point it and make it fascinating.
It could be
animated.
Powtoon, Animoto, it could be whatever.
Yeah, it could be anything
totally
like that, Bonnie. It could be you instructing, right?
For sure.
Zoom with a, doing what I'm doing.
Like that middle school, high school thing. Yeah, that one.
It could very well be that, but I don't think we limit ourselves in a video to just that. I don't think that is what we do.
Play around and have fun.
Yeah. So, Daisha, did you want to add yourself to this too? Because this, you said, was one of your things. You want to work with Bonnie? Okay.
Yeah, because I'm going to take a bigger chunk in one of the other group that get ready set. So add me to here. And then there's another thing in here I can do as well. But I wasn't going to try and take over this whole, all of it.
So, Bonnie, from this point, I know you don't know what you don't know because you're just starting working on this. I've got everybody's going to need editing and assistance. Do you feel like you need anything right now off the top of your head? Oh my gosh, I would love to do this, but I don't know how to do such and such. Is there anything that you feel you need support with in order to be able to complete this particular bullet point?
I don't think so. I'm pretty familiar, I think, with all of that. Unless there's something special like a program that you guys want me to use, or we think that one works better than another and we come up with that name and I just haven't heard of it, then at that point I'll need help with that.
And this is going to be an update, as we keep processing and doing this, there's going to be things that pop up that all of a sudden, like we just had a good example. We want to get teachers' input on what it means for them to be an active participant. That's something that until we started talking, I had no idea. I mean, it's a great idea and I love it. So there are going to be things that pop up that we need to probably add to this as we start developing and working with things. So this is not set in stone.
Well, and we all can, help each other if anyone needs anything.
Okay, so then the other key pieces here are excellent attendance.
I like that one. I like
okay.
So I can help whoever with that first big chunk, the what do I do daily?
Okay.
But I can go anywhere you want as well. And I can be an assistant to whoever. I don't have to be take it over.
No, I think that would
I have a lot of ideas. It goes hand in hand with the other section I want in the other.
I feel like there is content.
Calm down, Daisha.
Like we need to do a lot.
I love it. Go, Daisha.
Would you agree that I feel like we have the information, but I don't feel like we have a lot that we can use on this? Would you agree or disagree with that?
I agree. I think we have quite a bit available, but I think I'm going to have to modify it quite a bit to make it more, I don't want to say appropriate because it's not inappropriate, but better, I guess, or more fitting to what we want.
Well, right now we don't have images of those websites, so I think that's going to be important because we only have bullet points for Galileo, for Raz Kids, for Weebly, for for all that thing.
Well, and I want more the what do I do daily versus the website piece, because the website piece, I mean, I can certainly add that in.
Sorry, I was reading that off of here.
Come on, Bonnie.
I know. I got to get with it.
Stick with it.
Drink the diet.
I can't get rid of that. I don't know what the heck's going on.
We like it.
Making me mad.
It's pretty.
No, it's not. It's my stupid. Hang on.
Yep, there you go. You got it.
But that's a whole separate. There we go. Right.
Yay.
Oh,
see, you kept at it, Liz, and you did it.
Dang. All right. So what I need to do is I need to copy this without copying that. Okay, so this goes here, Control V.
And actually, yeah, you're right, Bonnie. I think even that whole section, the what do I do daily, the websites, and the learning coach checklist, it could be all in one thing for sure.
That's what I was thinking, because I think one of the things that I ran into this last year is a learning coach can hear USA Test Prep, but that's not the name they need to put in to go to the website. So it would be nice to just have like a little snippet where it shows them what it looks like. And because K5 is just generic, we can put that password information, all that stuff, so they don't even have to reach out to the teacher.
Right, just to
say
cheat sheet. Does Bonnie want to go on this with me?
Yes, I do.
I knew it.
I love the learning coach and student checklist. I am like so passionate about that.
I knew you'd like that too.
I wish I had it when we first started.
No doubt.
I tell you,
a checklist for everything in life.
Oh my gosh, a whole year of trying to figure out what we were doing would have been
handy.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if you know what you need or you don't need at this point, other than editing assistance. That goes on everybody. Sorry.
No, I think that's perfect because, like you said before, sometimes our brains confuse us.
Okay, so we've got Bonnie and Wendy, Daisha and Bonnie on this one, Daisha and Bonnie on that one. Well, I said Bonnie and Daisha. Jenny's on that one. Shannon's on. What do we have left? We've got a how to connect with your school. What is graduation? What do credits mean? Academic decline and how to avoid it, and then a tech piece. So we've got 4 other chunks.
So I like tech piece because I do that a lot with families, so I could do that.
Okay. What about like how to connect with the school? Like that's I can do the academic decline because we're not going to have all the pieces put in place for that. So I'm going to take the academic decline piece because
Crystal, maybe graduation stuff. Since you have experience with high school.
What do you think, Crystal? Can you do the graduation piece? What is your graduation? What do credits mean?
Sure. I need more information to, just like Jenny, I'll learn more. I know enough, but I can.
And I feel like we had something. Shannon, you had something that talked about that. Can you make sure that you send over information that you have?
Shannon's not on the call.
Oh, Shannon's on the call. I feel like Shannon has that. So, Crystal, reach out to Shannon because I feel like she's got something that she put together for her.
Julie might have.
And Insight has something too, I'm sure. So, I mean, not that we're making it Insight specific, but I'm sure we could pull all their information together in terms of what are credits.
Are we sharing all this with Insight as well?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I just wondered. I wanted to make sure.
To use or lose. I don't know if they'll use it. They are very specific on how they onboard, but I certainly am not going to preclude them from being in here. We should definitely have.
And there might.
Good.
Yeah, there might be something they can really use and help them. So it's worth time.
So Crystal, we're going to go with that. I feel like this format. I feel like this is really going to be more presentation and handouts. What do you guys feel? Do you feel a video on this? Maybe it could be a PowerPoint.
It could be. Yeah, it could be a real short
video
or a handout.
Yeah.
Yeah, however you think it'll appeal to a high schooler for sure.
And I wouldn't say so much presentation as like a whole big 15-minute presentation, but I'm sure it's a topic that will come up. So I do think you're right. Like a handout.
A handout. Yeah, a video and a handout. Yeah.
It could be that. I mean, I know the way Kimberly really was reaching these high schoolers was literally the flyer. It's like a small handout that had all the information, but they didn't have to do too much work to read it.
Yeah,
So
I like those.
That was beneficial for them.
And the how to connect with your school would be just a handout too. So maybe put those together.
Yeah, Crystal, can you do that one too?
Isn't that one still developing as well? Because I mean, we have to clear how we contact each grade level, right?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Why would we have to clear how we contact each? I don't understand that question.
Well, Skype for, or I'm sorry.
Skype is the only piece for K5 that we have to clear. So that will be something, but I still think.
But we'll have that info.
And I still think you could still have a quick little flyer on how to set up a Skype account and if your teacher, and get your teacher's Skype information. So I don't think it has to be for K5, do this. I think the general Skype is one form of communication you will see, because I know Insight uses it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know high school uses it. I feel like middle school wants to kind of move to that direction. So I feel like, these are more handouts and stuff like that.
Okay.
Totally agree.
Put me on that one, Liz.
Okay.
You can really use like Google Sheets or Google. I mean, is that what she used to create?
Oh, how she did her flyers?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
No, it was a poster maker, a website.
I would ask her.
Yeah. I did mine in Publisher and saved it that way. And then she did hers. Yeah. There was a certain website. We both used it. So
if you could share that. I mean, anything that's free,
Yeah. And there's lots of different things you can do. So Publisher is my favorite and it's fun. So I'm happy to help with that.
I feel like for this one, you've got handouts. I think this could also be like contact, email, open office hours, help rooms. I feel like when we talked about this, it was how to get help, right? How to get help from your content teacher?
Well, it's the, when we talked about the open office hours. Yeah, so it's that connection piece, how to connect with. So all
so
those
that might be something we're going to pull in from the Get Ready, right? So, because we're developing a big chunk of that in Get Ready, right? Or do you think this is just a different?
I think it's a different, if it's just a handout, it's more of maybe
a handout for that.
Like a chart.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's a handout. In my mind, that's some kind of video that talks about like a big question mark, confused, what do you do?
So
help rooms, office. I feel like that's a fun video or something.
It could be. I think it could still go on a handout, like what are some ways to connect with your school? And it could say, help rooms, and then a little like, what does that mean and where do you find them? So I think it could be both.
Do you think just handouts for this particular piece? What do you think, Crystal? What do you kind of formats do you think? Only handouts?
Well, I mean, you could do handouts, but I mean, we could do a short little, some kind of short video or both for like the open office hours and help rooms. I feel like that I tell the students that's like, that's the best offer you have.
What? You could have a funny video that basically, is a teacher, a view of a teacher, and they sent out, you could say, and I'm not saying that you make this, but you could do it in Powtoons or something where they make a phone call and then they're waiting for a reply and they're waiting for a reply and they don't ever get a reply. Do you know what I mean? So you could do a fun, cute video on how important it is that your teachers really do want to talk with you type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and see, that would work too. And there's a lot of students that will email their teacher and then not go to the help room.
Correct.
Oh, I haven't heard back. Well, did you go to the open office hour?
Well, there's
other ways.
They don't know exactly what it is or how, I don't want to say scary, but they kind of just don't know how approachable that teacher is or that situation.
Yeah.
So I think making it pretty easy for the student to realize this is a very low-key, low-stress, super easy, come on in thing. And that could be either video or, chart with all those other.
I think because they're marked optional, which I mean, I wouldn't want them to not be marked optional, but I think that I know with the kids I work with, I always say, look for the teacher's open office hours. They will be marked optional. However,
Correct.
But you can go with so much. I'll tell them it's like a golden nugget, something really special that you don't realize.
Yeah, and not a lot of kids go.
No, and I need to.
I tell them, especially the older kids, I tell them there's potential for extra credit, or they'll shorten their assignments. They'll say, you get 10 points extra credit, or I'll bump you this, or you don't have to do all the pages. So I kind of give them that little incentive, and I don't think it happens often, but it happens. So
Yeah.
I tell them there's always that chance.
Yeah, and I have a student this year that he was having a hard time with an assignment, and the teacher totally like kind of reworked it for him so he could do better. You know, I mean, if they know they're trying, they know they're trying, they will make it work for them, and just help them along that way. So the more communication, the better.
So tech piece is the last piece. CJ, for you, your big piece is really Learning Coach University. So my question for you is, all these chunks that we're doing, would that be something that you would take and disseminate and to pull what you need for Learning Coach University for this particular piece?
Some of it.
Yeah, I'm not saying all of it. Yeah.
And if I were to pick like a favorite, I would say it's going to be, what do I do on the daily?
Mm-hmm.
How do I get myself organized? So for me, it's in like the bulk of it is those very beginning pieces, because I don't want to put us back where we were 2 years ago, where everybody was drinking out of a fire hose.
100% agree.
I just want like, bam, the most powerful piece, but that's all you're getting.
Okay.
It's the one thing.
So, like, we'll have to figure out, I think all of us should have a piece of this tech piece, right? Because I think we all have things that we've seen. So I almost feel like this tech piece should be something in Team Drive that we add resources.
There's a lot of videos. The K-12 videos has stuff on pop-ups and clearing cache.
I feel like the tech piece is going to be in my mind, I'm envisioning a handout.
Yeah.
With videos and stuff like that. So maybe we can have a document in our Team Drive. And you got to keep in mind, this isn't everything a family needs to, because that's a fire hose, right? This is everything a family would need to be successful, right? So that's where I want you guys to think of this tech piece, is think about what that means. What are the technical things that impact a student's success, right? So the block ups, I know we put it here, but that's getting ready to start school. That should already be done at this point in time. This is stuff like, okay, my internet is out, right? What do I do? This is stuff like, I can't launch Blackboard. I mean, I know, so like clearing Java, that type of thing. Changing browsers, I think, was another piece in here, right? So what do you think about just having all of us collaborate on this piece of it?
I think that's good, and it doesn't have to be a certain format, because Robert is taking this piece, which is bigger, for the other topic, the Get Ready. So I think whatever format he uses, I think we sort of piggyback on his style, so that there's sort of the same consistency, but he might also have a lot of stuff that we could use both ways. So I like the idea of sort of a dumping document for us.
Okay, perfect.
And then we'll sort of merge it with his.
Yeah, because last year. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Bonnie.
I was going to say, for the s'mores, it was really successful in Mary Rose's handout for that tech corner. So pulling all that stuff from K-12, it really worked this last year, which was great.
Yeah, and I think that's what we probably do. We dump that stuff into something in Team Drive that was I would think it's like, as you are pulling something together, right? Like Shannon is going to be doing how to check course progress. Well, if she sees a tech issue that she knows about, that should be something that she puts into this document for her particular chunk. Absolutely.
I think this is an excellent place to put all of those technical videos or handouts that are on the K-12 website.
Correct. Well, again, we're already doing that. I don't want to reinvent. Somebody's already doing that and Get Ready to Connect. So that's going to be a piece that's already done in another section. I want you, I don't want you to waste your time just going and putting stuff up there, right? Just to put stuff up there. It might already be done. I think what will end up happening is we're going to have this large tech piece handout that's going to be done. And what we're going to need to do is we'll probably end up saying, okay, this belongs in Get Set for Success. This belongs in Get Ready to Connect. I feel like that's where it'll develop, but I don't want one of us to just spend all this time looking at tech videos. If when you're doing your section, you're like, oh, wow, this tech video would be great, we need to add that into that piece. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So CJ, for Learning Coach University, I feel like, and you let me know, because you're welcome to help out. I don't want to like say, you only have to do this. if you want to help on any of these other pieces, you are more than welcome. But I feel like once this stuff is developed, and maybe along the way, you're going to pull things out of this and put this as a piece. Am I wrong in that assumption, or?
No,
Okay.
I'm clearly identified some pieces that we need for LCU. I'm envisioning this, at least from my end of it, as the LCU page needs to have little bites of, ready, set, grow, but they need to be nibbles. I'm really all about the tapas plate, not an all you can eat.
Great analogy. I love that.
It's a cultural thing. So it's great to have all these resources, but knowing that the advisors can roll them out to individual families as they need it.
Correct.
Versus, me cranking, open the fire hydrant and being like, good luck, hydrate.
No, I think what it really comes down to, for this piece, for a learning coach, what are the critical things that they need to know, and pulling that out. And that becomes a piece of the set part, get your kids set for success for Learning Coach University.
Yes.
So I agree with you on that. I feel like it's things like, like if I'm looking at this, basically making sure you understand what excellent attendance and engage, right? What are those good schooling habits?
For me, really, it's the what do I do daily?
Oh, yeah.
It's really like those bullet points right there.
Yeah.
And that's it. And keep it a nice, tidy list. And then obviously every section will close out with, if you've got questions,
correct,
email us. And we may need to have a separate email, how we've got one for summer programming. Maybe a separate email for get ready, get set. Something like that.
I don't know about a separate email, but we might.
Or put a button for them to just email back if they've got questions, or, refer them back to their advisor.
I think you'd want to do that. Send them to
their advisor. I think you just want to have their advisor. Yeah, I think it's got to be, but.
Because the advisors are already going to be in constant communication anyway. So I don't want to clutter up the page, the LCU page, with a whole lot of.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. I mean, certainly.
Send them back to their advisors.
I feel like, well, that brings a whole other thing, that I do think we need to have that funnel go to the advisor. So if you have questions, call your advisor and funnel them back to their advisor page. I feel like that's where the questions need to go. Now, that being said, I have no idea where the brain went. It's gone. I have no idea where that went. I had like a total brain dead.
I think if they asked a question, or if they emailed CJ, if they emailed me, I would certainly answer their question, but also funnel them to their advisor. Unless I somehow could not answer their question, which would be a little weird, but I think I would try to help them, but also provide that advisor, reach out to your advisor for more information. So I wouldn't want to leave them hanging.
No, if we're replying to them, we need to CC the advisor so they know this is an issue.
And that gives them their email right there, super fast.
That's a really good point, yeah. The only thing where I think this is where my brain was going when you said a separate email, because we can create those just, they're called community emails. We can create a community email. And the only reason that I feel like you would create a community email for Learning Coach University is if you have that test that they are taking to test out of the program, right? Or test into the program because they don't know what they're doing. That could go to a community email. But I don't know why that would be different than going to you. I don't know. We'd have to talk about that.
Yeah.
Could create it, and that way multiple people could have access to it. But I don't feel like they're going to be sending, I feel like you're going to be sending, you're going to get that, whatever we create for them, you'll see, and then that's when you're going to be sending it out. I don't know. We can talk more about it.
Yeah.
We can explore that more.
It's so funny. We've got that community email for summer programming, and I sent the s'more, and I sent all kinds of other stuff out to families, complete with like a lot of those summer resources. And I legit got an email this morning that says, "What do you suggest we do this summer?"
Doesn't surprise me.
I suggest you reread the s'more.
Yeah. The community emails, and what I've discovered, because there's a testing community email that I was pulled in on, and the benefit of the community email is you can have multiple people manage the email. That's the benefit. It's got a testing AZDA, right? So that's a benefit. It's one identifiable email that you know, okay, testing, I go here, right? But you can't, like when you send out emails, you can't send it out from that community inbox. It still comes from so you still have people that just reply to you, not to and what happens is it goes to both emails. I mean, it was a bit of a chore, honestly, for testing, because I would get them in my school email as well as the testing emails. So the benefit of the testing emails is anybody on that email can answer that question, which I think for testing is important. But I don't know if there's a benefit for, well, I don't know. We could talk more about it, CJ. If you really feel like you need it, we can figure out what it looks like and how it would be used. Okay, anything else? I feel like we've had a really good session today. Whoops, not VJ, CJ. Anything else? I think we've got everything covered. So we've determined the content we have to develop, determine content. Okay, I think we've got everything that we were supposed to do, we've done. So everybody's assigned a task. I guess our next meeting is I start developing, start working at your stuff, see what you need. And then at our next meeting, we can kind of do a really quick update on where you're at. And if you figured out something, I need this, so that we can make sure we get that. And even if it's you say, oh my gosh, I found this awesome thing that if I had this, I could do this. And it costs this amount of money. If it's even something like that, give me the opportunity to get that for you. Okay, so if there's something that you're like, holy crap, this is the most fantastic thing in the world. Look at what it does. I need this. You got to let me know that too. Okay. All right. I think we're done. Any questions? All right. Very awesome.
And will you put, or can I put these, when you send out this updated one, can I put them in the team drive for this?
Love it. Yeah,
perfect.
Because when I'm done, I'll have the recording. I'll add the recording link. I'll send out the notes to everybody. Yeah, it'd be a great place to store it. If you don't mind throwing it up there, that would be fantastic.
Perfect, will do.
Awesome.
Thank
you.
All
right, everyone. Thank you, guys. Looking forward to seeing what we do. Woohoo!
Thank you, guys.
All right, have a good day.